Hi there. Today we are in Pickering, Ontario, and we're looking at this 1969 Dodge Charger. General Lee. Not gonna lie, I'm gonna do my best not to kind of geek out about this one because this is my childhood wrapped up right here. But overall, it is in pretty good condition. It shows about 59,000 miles on the odometer, which the car has been restored. I think the owner said about 10-15 years ago. Bodywork looks pretty good. We have no major issues. If you look down quarter panels, things like that, nice and straight. Doors are good. Did paint thickness throughout the vehicle. No super heavy bodywork in it. Obvious spots, quarter panels, things like that. But for the most part, both quarters have been replaced. Deck lid all looks good. As you see, gaps and everything look good as well. Throughout the car, they're pretty nice and even. So I have no issues with any of that. Taillight panel, a lot of parts, some things look pretty original. Taillights, kind of unrestored originals. Some gaps, some trim pieces. Rear bumper looks pretty original. There's a little bit of kind of older chrome pitting, some discoloration, a little bit of rust, a little dent on this side. For an original, it's not too bad at all. Good driver quality. This side looks good as well. Quarter panel's nice and straight, as you can see. A little bit of, you can see a spot where a drip was sanded and buffed out right here. Sorry, that sun's probably right in the way. But it's right in this area here. A little bit of a rub here, which will probably, oh, actually I just rubbed it off my finger, so it's just a kind of mark. But no rust or anything like that. Everything looks pretty decent. There is a little bit of mud, a little bit of thickness in this rocker. It was probably repaired, mudded up a little bit. I don't see any rust or any issues like that. Something to note, there are a couple of bubbles in the bottoms of both doors. So this is the driver door. And those little bubbles, my finger for reference, about that big. They don't go through or anything like that. Later on I'll show you the door bottoms all look pretty nice. And again, gaps and everything look good. All the glass looks good. Windshield is good, done well. Trim, all stainless trim looks good. A little overspray here and there and some DA sanding marks, things like that, but nothing too bad. Hood gaps all look pretty straight. No issues there. This one's a little tight here, but nothing to complain about. Here we are on the front. So we see pretty original bumper in the front as well. A couple of marks, things like that. But normal. Grille and lights all look original. See, this one's sitting a little crooked. It needs a little bit of adjustment here, as you can see. There is a little bit of a crack in this grill bezel here, but they are original. Push bumper looks pretty good. The valance not banged up or anything like that underneath. All looks pretty good. Trim, again over here, a little high, but no issues. All that stuff looks pretty original. Windows look good. They seem to close decently. This one's down a little bit. The other side looks good as well. No issues. Looks to be original glass as well, and most of it. Windshield has been replaced, but the rest of the glass looks pretty good. Let me show you. There is also these on the passenger door. As I said, a couple of bubbles here and a couple of bubbles here. But other than that, all this stuff looks pretty good. Now, wheels, tires, brakes. The tires are fairly old. They're from 2012. They've been sitting a good amount. They're a little hard. I wouldn't drive on them too much. A little bit of wear on the inside. Probably there's about 4/32 seconds tread. But if you're gonna drive it anywhere, I would kind of recommend new tires. Original Keystone turbine wheels look pretty good. A couple of marks in them from age, but I do believe these original from the period. Has been converted to front disc brakes, which look to be in good condition with no signs of real issue. Rear drums, Keystones look good back here as well. No major issues. There is one missing lug nut right there, but again, 2012 tire, recommend replacing. while we're here on this side, we'll look in the undercarriage. So I did climb under, get a good amount of photos under here. You'll see more extensive in the photos, but I don't find any real major rust issues, anything like that. Some grease and stuff on the rear, kind of original. Doesn't, like, it's, let's call it driver quality under here. Nothing bad, but it's not detailed or anything like that. No rust or any issues. Fuel lines, brake lines, everything looks decent. You can see all that under there. That's just kind of some surfacey stuff from rubbing or something. But for the most part, all that stuff looks pretty good. We'll come around here. And same story on this side. Keystone look pretty good. 2012 tire, a little worn. And drum brakes. Everything looks pretty decent under here. No major rust issues or anything like that. There is one little, which you'll see in the photo. It's kind of a weird spot. Right there in the frame, looks like a heavy undercoat or a kind of silicone or something. I don't know if it was a rust repair that's been covered or what. Doesn't feel rusty. Feels pretty solid, but it's just a weird little spot, just to note. Other than that, though, I don't see any major issues. All looks pretty decent under here. Floors look good. Frame rails look good. All looks pretty decent. Trans seems to be an original style condition. No major leaks or anything like that. A little bit of dampness, but nothing major. And the same thing with the pan, as you can see. Now there is a coolant leak. It's hard to see up in there. I looked at it. I thought it was maybe a freeze-out plug, but the owner says that it's the head bolts, the manifold bolts, which go into the water jackets in the head, leak a little bit. And everything else under here, steering components, all look pretty decent. No major leaks, anything like that. Same thing on this side here. All looks pretty decent. We'll get in the trunk. Get the key real quick. Okay, here we are on the trunk. Original style matte. Some of these panels look original. This one is cracked here, but they're in original condition, not too bad. You can see quarter panels have been redone here, butted together on this side, rear panel, and this quarter has been overlapped. Under this looks pretty good. You'll see some photos. Trunk floor has been replaced with a two-piece unit. You can see the seam done down the center here, but for the most part it all looks pretty good. Inner wheel wells all look okay. I see no signs of issue, nothing like that. And the same story on this side. One second, let me grab this, give you a quick look. There we go. It looks pretty good under here. I took this mat up for better photos, so you'll see those in the report. Trunk lid looks good. Also, it has been signed by many of the stars of the show. Here's Enos, here's Cletus, and I can't read who that one is. Oh, Sheriff Little. Pretty neat. Then we go in the interior. Start on the passenger side. Door panels look pretty good. A little bit of wear and tear, nothing crazy. A lot of these have just been vinyl dyed, and you see some of the cracking, things like that. Some kind of overspray on some of this. Looks like some of that vinyl kind of painted up stuff. Some overspray here as well. Door and some drips on the paint in this door bottoms. Bottoms of the doors, though, they don't look rusty. Anything looks pretty good. Rockers look good. Interior seats have been redone. Here's the front seat. Seat belt all looks pretty good, not worn. Nice and comfortable. A couple little marks. Looks like a little See that mark right there? Kind of, it almost looks like a tape mark or something. Somebody might have sat in something. Back seat looks pretty good as well. Back of the seat, no issues. So upholstery wise, it all looks pretty good. Seats look decent. This side, passenger side, there is missing one button head. Side panels look good. Everything seems to be pretty good. Headliner is decent. A little loose towards the back, but nothing too bad. Does have the single hoop roll bar, accurate to the show. Black carpet looks nice. Center console has some scratches and some cracks. You can see here. And then as we look up here, see a lot of it, I think this has just been kind of vinyl dyed and worn through the years. Carpet looks good. Glove box works. Box is not there. Owner has a new box that he showed me that will go with the car. It's a little, got to be a little, it worked before. There we go. Got to be hard with it. Dash is decent. So you can tell it's been kind of vinyl dyed, but it presents okay from a couple feet away. Radio delete. He also has another set of controls for the heat, which will go with the car. CV radio is not hooked up, it's just for display. And on the console here, we also do have Catherine Bach, Tom Wopat, and John, what's his name? But I don't know, Bo, I forget his name. John Snyder, that's it. Go around to the driver's side, and everything else seems to be similar condition to the passenger side. Again, we see some of this kind of stuff here, and some marks on the door panels. Door bottoms look nice and solid though, no issues. Driver's seat, kind of extra padded, nice and comfortable. A couple little marks, nothing crazy. And the rear, same story as the other side. All looks pretty good. Little marks on this panel here, a couple of scratches, some stuff on there. Bit of wear on the steering wheel. The black is wearing off, and you see brown underneath it. Or, yeah. But all the switches, everything seems to be pretty much original. Like I said, most of this has kind of just been painted. Lights do work, you'll see that. One gets stuck a little, but they do come up. And all this stuff looks pretty decent as well. We're gonna go into the hood. So this is a 383 car. Owner said it was originally a 2-barrel. It's been converted to 4-barrel car. Looks pretty good over here. Under here, driver quality. No rust or any issues. Everything's been painted up nice. Motor is a little bit of greasiness here and there. Kind of been painted up. Seems to start and run well. As you'll see, choke was on, was a little shaky, but for the most part, it seems to run well. Tested your oil. We have no issues. Nice and clean. Trans fluid looks clean. Battery is good. About 13, charging about 15, so no issues there. Looks like there's a new, fairly new alternator, or just not a lot of use on it. Belts look good. Hoses look good. It's got a new aluminum rad, which looks nice. The coolant was a bit low, so that should be topped up. All that stuff looks pretty good though. Here's the new carb Edelbrock 4-barrel dress-up kit. Squirter, that's another thing. Squirter motor he has, which will apparently go with the car. Top of the hood looks good. So there you have it. You'll also see attached running video. It does have Dixie horns, which I'm going to test in a minute, because I got to hear them while I'm here. Other than that, though, we look pretty good. We're not going to take it for a drive because roads are a little dirty and there's no plates on the car. Other than that, though, Looks pretty decent, pretty good. Looks like it could be a hoot to drive around. As usual, thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.